Hey, I'm Scott, and today we're talking about the new YoloBox Pro and why I think it's one of the best choices for anyone who wants to live stream with quality cameras, from beginners to pros, for events, wedding, YouTubers, even just everyday Skype or Zoom calls. So, let's get into it. Okay, so I've done 2 live streams with this now to demonstrate what it can do and how it works, and I recommend that you check out the second one. It was about an hour long, but I will go back and add chapter markers so you can skip around to whatever feature you really want to see more about. In today's video, I want to, in a more compact and organized way, talk about all of the upgrades, the functions, the awesomeness of what the YoloBox Pro is, without spending quite as much time explaining in detail how each and every bit actually works. I will of course show quick clips in this video as examples of what I'm talking about while I'm talking, but for more detail or step-by-step how-to type instructions, that's all in the live stream video, which again I will link to down below. As a disclaimer, I was sent the YoloBox for free to test and review, but as always, they haven't asked me to say anything specific one way or the other, and I won't say anything that isn't factual or that I haven't at least demonstrated to be true during the live stream. And just to demonstrate that that's true, I'll start this off with my 2 and only complaints so far, and those are that 1, the instructions for chroma keying with a video in the background instead of just a simple photo are kind of unclear on here. But again, check the live stream for an actual demonstration of how to do that step by step. And the second thing is just that the screw thread in the bottom of, at least mine, is just a little bit too shallow, and a lot of the monitor mounts that I've tried with it just can't screw all the way in. I'm not sure if that's an issue with the YoloBox Pro in general or just mine specifically. But anyway, let's go over the basic specs and upgrades. We'll talk about what I liked best, and along the way, we'll show you some quick examples of what this can do. Physically, it's bigger, it's better, it's brighter. It's now got an 8-inch screen over the 7 inches we had before, and it's also 100 nit brighter at 400 nit. And well, it's not crazy bright. It's definitely bright enough for most situations, as you can probably see here. It's a very clear and nice looking touchscreen that's really just as responsive to touch as a smartphone, for example, unlike some of the touchscreen monitors that we've used recently. You can also use this in monitoring mode now and just see all of your camera angles without actually going live, which is surprisingly useful. Now, physically, the original felt pretty solid actually, but the Pro just feels even better with a really nice, hard, kind of rubbery texture all around the body. And battery has been bumped up from 5,200 milliamp hours to 10,000. The original could run off battery for 3 hours. This seems to do even better. You also now have more options for charging it. You've got 5 volt 3 amp, 9 volt 2 amp, or 12 volt 1.5 amp options. And of course, you could also use this plugged in while streaming, while using it if you need to stream for a while. And I haven't noticed it getting really hot to the touch or anything like that, and it really runs completely silently. The processor in the Pro is 2 times more powerful, and you can really feel it. It's not laggy or buggy at all, and you can do a lot more because of that power. Things like green screen or blue screen work shockingly well, and they have very intuitive and simple slider adjustments to really get things dialed in perfectly. And I'm in paradise. There are also things like customizing your bitrate and just handling so many sources at once. Now you've got 3 HDMI inputs, a USB for something like a webcam, you've got USB-C input for something like a drone. You have 2 sources that you can now load in there from your SD card, including PDF files, and it's just overall way more than the original could handle. You also get both line in and mic in options for audio, which is really great because no matter where you're streaming from or where your audio is coming from, in my case, I usually just take audio from one of my HDMI sources, but it is great to have options, and this can handle it all. They should also have a major audio interface upgrade coming very soon, which will address some of my only remaining concerns here, like having some better controls for audio or using 2 audio sources at the same time. your microphone and audio from your SD card, for example. It's coming soon. Now, another concern that I had before that has been updated and pretty much perfectly fixed, actually both in the original and now of course in the Pro version, is the customization of things like lower third overlays, for example. Now you can customize color, font, background color, text size, and just pretty much every aspect of those overlays. And you can do that for pretty much all of the graphics in here, which is awesome. You can also overlay live comments into your live stream now, again, customizing in detail how they're displayed. I love that feature for live streaming Q&A type videos. And if you didn't already know, you can of course monitor your comments right here on the YoloBox next to the frame of what you're actually streaming, so you can see both at the same time. And you can see that for both YouTube and Facebook as long as your Facebook stream is set to public. Now, the other thing that kept me holding on to my Atom Mini until now is being able to easily use it for a simple USB webcam source for things like Skype or Zoom. But coming very soon with a firmware update to this YoloBox Pro, you will also be able to do that from here. Of course, you could do it now with a capture card using the HDMI output, but that requires more hardware that I don't currently have. And remember that when you're using this YoloBox Pro for that type of setup, you can still monitor all of your angles on this YoloBox screen, which you can't do with the Atom. You can also add the overlays on the dedicated YoloBox screen without having to switch back and forth between software windows or apps on your computer. You've got that chroma keying and all the other great things that we talked about. This has got to be the best all-around device on the market. Like I said, even just as a monitor, now you can monitor multiple camera angles on a single screen, which is something that I can't even do with my larger OC 15.6 inch monitor. It just doesn't have the software to handle that, and this does. And again, I'm repeating myself, but as a switcher, you can use it for streaming to multiple platforms simultaneously right from this one simple little box. And again, you can monitor comments live. You can show them as overlays on the screen as you respond to them. You can set up single tap or double tap switching modes to prevent switching sources by accident. You can choose from a range of transition effects, and you can even customize things like how your video sources play from an SD card or how they behave when you switch off of them, either pausing, playing in the background, or just restarting. And yes, you can do all of this without a computer, either over a wired Ethernet connection, over Wi-Fi, which I've been doing, or even with a SIM card, although I haven't tried that yet myself. I've been streaming, like I said, with Wi-Fi, and the quality seems great, and I haven't had any major issues with the connection. It's been pretty much as rock solid as I could say, as I could hope. All of this flexibility just really means that this is geared towards pretty much any type of user or situation, if it's sports or events or weddings or YouTube, you name it. And I've honestly found the user interface to be very intuitive, even though that customization goes so deep. So it's really great for anything from beginners like myself, to be honest with you, all the way up to pros in my opinion. There's just so much you can do with this. Seriously, it's a lot of fun. And it's $8.99 for the original and it's $12.99 for the Pro. They're both great, of course, but with more sources, with more power and more just critical features, I would say just save up and get the Pro, honestly. You don't need a computer, you don't need a monitor. Although, of course, you can use the HDMI output from here to monitor your stream on an external monitor. But, I mean, it's bug-free as far as I can tell. It's easy to use, it's intuitive to use, and most of all, honestly, it's fun. I know it's not going to be in everyone's budget, but if you live stream or are thinking of live streaming, I really highly recommend you pick one of these up. It's really the only streaming device or accessory that has actually made me enjoy streaming and really want to do it more. But that's about it for this video. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out the live demonstration linked down below. Hope to see you next time.